Boom. Okay, here we go. What's going on, peeps? Okay, hey, what's going on, everybody? Let's talk about Game of Thrones Season 7, Episode 4. Unbelievable. And hopefully we can get the other people going on here. We have so much to talk about, This episode was totally crazy. I mean, it had everything. Not only did it have the big events, the big moments, but it also had some very subtle things that we need to talk about. I want to hear from your comments over here in the chat. Step one, let's just go straight to it. The dragon battle. Unbelievable. This dragon battle was so great. I mean, you had Daenerys Targaryen, who was frustrated, okay? She had been trying to do everything here, listening to Tyrion, trying to be smart, to be clever. She had all of these armies and navies. Her navy got decimated. I mean, the last episode you've been seeing her navy, get decimated by Euron Greyjoy, outmaneuvered there with the battle for Castle Rock. I mean, a lot of things were lining up. You have the Iron Throne getting behind Cersei making these moves, capturing the people from Dorne. So, you could see where Daenerys was getting very frustrated. Well, she had an answer this week. At the end, riding in there with those Dothrakis after Jaime and that whole crew and the Tarleys felt like they really, they had taken, Highgarden, they had all that gold, they had this big victory and stuff like that, and here comes the Dothraki. But just as they're lining up, ready to repel them, boom! I mean, woo! The dragon just took them out. And again, this is reaction. If you haven't seen this episode, we are going to be talking about, there's going to be spoilers here. First of all my personal opinion only, not alleging facts, not casting any aspersions, all for entertainment purpose only. Please check the disclaimers. This by far was the best episode that we've seen this season, in my opinion. This was so great. The power of that dragon could not be underestimated. And they had their little ballista there, whatever that thing that Qyburn or whatever, did. And they went toe to toe with. Dragon took a hit. Dragon definitely took a hit. But first of all, let's talk about this. I mean, I almost felt like I was watching Lord of the Rings or something like that. I mean, okay, because it's like I understand this dude that was firing it. Is a master mercenary and everything like that, but it cannot be easy to try to hit a dragon moving in that kind of speed and everything like that. But whatever, we'll leave that aside. And those things take a long time to load. But man, that dragon was just ripping through that line, and it was impressive. It really had a lot of stuff. What did you think about that? Were you worried? I want to hear from the comments over here in the chat. Were you concerned that dragon was going to be done with Daenerys riding? Did you think it was game over for that dragon? I want to hear about that. That's number one. Number two, what's up with Jaime, dude? I mean, the dude's already lost a hand and everything like that. I don't think he was thinking straight. I think that he just got so upset and so fired up with what had happened there that he just, took the spear and lost his senses. You can't go toe to toe with a dragon. You think are you going after Daenerys? You're trying to go after the dragon. What are you doing? That was crazy. Were you concerned about that? That's what I want to know about right there. But now let's get into this. We're going to put that on pause. I want to hear from you people about that, about the dragon. And that's one dragon. Just think if there was all three dragons in the mix, what kind of devastation that would be. What about Arya versus Brienne? That was interesting. That was clever. I mean, you have the reunion of the Starks in Winterfell. Bron's there, Sansa's there, Arya's there, and they've all changed so much since they've been together. It's such a different thing now. Okay, so that's very interesting, and they're all right there. I thought the dynamic, honestly, I can't even. It's hard to say because, okay, I'm jumping a little bit ahead in my mind here. we've seen the arc with Sansa, but now you have Sansa and Arya together, and you could see where Sansa was still trying to treat Arya like she's that little sister, like she's someone she needs to protect, and she's the you know, the Lord of Winterfell, right? Acting anyway, while Jon's away and everything like that. But man, and you could see the affection and everything like that. But and then you had Littlefinger trying his little stuff, you know, trying his schemes, trying to figure out how he can play each of the Starks, you know, taking a shot at Bran. And that's very interesting. We're going to go on that. But also talking to Arya there, and whoa, I mean, when you saw that interaction with Brienne, and Brienne's trying to be nice and okay, let me show you everything like that, but immediately got her pride wounded because it's like, whoa, wait a minute. You're trying to upstage me as a sword fighter? What? That's crazy. And so then it got serious. Then it got real serious. And I guess it ended in a kind of a draw there, right? You have the power of Brienne and the armor and that big sword, but at the same time with you know, with Arya, you had Matrix-like moves. I mean, nimble, slick, fast, moving all around. That was crazy. The moves of Arya Stark. And you could see Sansa sitting there looking at it like, what in the world? You know, and they both, when they had that discussion, they both were like, they knew that they had both been through a lot, and they each had their secrets. They weren't ready to reveal it right there. But I thought in that interaction, in that fight, Brienne and Arya, I think, got the respect of each other, and I think that was interesting there. I will call that a draw for now. But if you saw the reaction on Littlefinger's face, he didn't know what to make of it. Arya Stark, I think he realized, now, you're not going to manipulate this girl. This is a top-level assassin, okay? You have someone with Arya Stark you don't know what you're going to be able to do with. So Littlefinger thought he was running the show, and now I think that's very tenuous. Not to say that he won't have his things that he's going to try to do, in my opinion, because I think he absolutely will. And then Sansa, I don't know if she was shocked or pleased. I'm going to go with pleased, but that was an interesting, and there's, again, that's what we have to talk about. So I want to hear from you guys in the super chat right now. I want to hear, or sorry, in the chat, and give me the chat. I want to know what you guys think. Number one, what do you think about the dragons? Were you concerned that the dragons were that one of the dragons was going to be taken out with Daenerys on it? That's number one. Number two, what about Jaime in that move? I can't believe you're going to pick up the spear. And it was interesting what Daenerys said, because she's questioning Tyrion and his plan, his strategy, also maybe his loyalty. It's like, hey, we're going against your family. How motivated are you? Are you giving me the real advice here? Or maybe you're some kind of super spy. That's sort of an interesting thing right there. And you saw the concern and pain on Tyrion's face. Concern for Jaime. I mean, you saw the Lannister army decimated, everything burning. It's one thing to want to, you know, rebel or get revenge on your parents or be mad about this or have a chip on your soul, whatever like that. But when you see the Lannister army decimated and this dragon blasting them down right there and your brother standing out there, that's another thing right there. That's something to think about. I think that had a big impact on Tyrion, so we're going to have to see how that evolves, because I think there's going to be a story right there. But I think, you know, Daenerys is like, you know what? Forget it. I'm going full blast. We're going to do this right now and show them about a dragon and be impressive. Now, I don't want to also, we have to talk about Jon Snow and Daenerys. We got to talk about that, and we'll talk about that cave with the markings, with the children of the forest, the first men, the White Walkers, the Night King. It's all there. It's almost like the cycle's coming full circle and stuff like that. The need to come together. And I think that Daenerys saw that. Also, those two got a little close there right there. Daenerys was stepping over there to Jon Snow. I wasn't sure what's going to happen. When they were walking out of the caves, I'm like, wait a minute. Are they walking hand in hand? They weren't, but that was sort of an interesting thing right there. Now, do you think that Jon's going to bend the knee? Daenerys keeps talking about Jon bending the knee. And Jon's like, look, none of this stuff is important with the Iron Throne, you know, the Keep, the Red Keep, any of this stuff. None of that is important. We need to deal with the White Walkers and can't beat them ourselves. seeing all that dragon glass there. Things are coming together. Things are coming in place. And then we had Theon Greyjoy. Like, wow. I mean, there's so many just showstoppers. I'm going to pause on that because I want to get back to this. One of the most interesting and subtle things in this episode was everything going on with Bran and the three-eyed raven type of situation. Now, the woman who carried him down here, that was an interesting sort of reaction there and how they were going back and forth. I want to see the comments over here right there. Hello, what's going on? We've got Marco Minko in. Hello, Marco, what's going on? Marco, what did you think about this episode? What was your favorite part? Was it the dragon? Was it Snow and Daenerys? Was it, Cersei? What do you think's going on with that? You've got the Iron Bank ready to re-up and throw out some cash, but I'm still talking about this Bran thing here because I don't want to get distracted on that. This is so critical, in my opinion. So, as the three-eyed raven, he's trying to get his powers. He's trying to get things going on. See, he's not in full control of this thing right yet. At the same time, is this still Bran or is this still the three-eyed raven? He said he can remember what it was like to be Bran. Now, she said, hey, I think you died there in that cave. But I'm not sure that's the case, right? I think that Bran is obviously much, much more the three-eyed raven, but I don't think that's the case. My sense of it, I might be wrong, but my sense of it, and I want to hear from you guys out there, is that he said that so that she could go with a clean conscience and be with her family. And the reason I think that is because afterwards you could see the interaction with Bran and the Starks. And that seemed to be very real and very genuine to me. Okay, and where he's like, oh yeah, I saw you outside there, Arya, and they were talking about stuff, and he was giving her the dagger and stuff like that. And what about that? Yeah, Bran. That's exactly what I'm talking about, Marco. I'm talking about Bran. So I think this is still Bran, but obviously it's a three-eyed raven. It's more than Bran, right? And his interaction with Littlefinger. I mean, think about this. That one line: "Chaos is a ladder." That's like, whoa, whoa, a ladder to what? A ladder to what? Does that mean you're building to something? Is that like a stepping stone? Is that something that you use to get to something? That was very, very interesting. And we know the three-eyed raven is playing the super long game, right? That he's very interested in the White Walkers and all that type of stuff, and has this sense of history. And I mean, what game is he playing? He's playing three-dimensional chess, a whole different type of situation. So I want to know what you think the motivate. Now, we know the basic motivations, but where do you think Bran is coming right now? And I think that with this episode, Littlefinger really figured out with his interactions, particularly with Arya and Bran, and he may be out of his league here. He's dealing with things that are way beyond. If he thought he was going to play the good old uncle and do all that. Ah, interesting. Season 1. Okay. Expand on that, Marco. What are you talking about right there? Marco says that's what Littlefinger said to Varys in season 1. But I'm saying that, I think that Littlefinger was still trying to play his game of, hey, remember what he said to Sansa last episode? Think of every possibility, good and bad, and then you're never surprised, this and that, whatever. It's like, okay, well, he got surprised this week, okay? Because I don't think he was ever expecting this type of situation now with Bran. So when Bran was talking, and it's interesting when he says things like, remember when he talked with Sansa? And remember when he said, oh, you look so beautiful that night, and it really shook her up. And it showed, and the same thing with him, and that was 1-to-1. So, okay, but when he was saying, yeah, I saw you at the crossroads, I wasn't sure which way you're going. And remember, Sansa, I thought with this list, when Arya was talking about her list, I think Sansa thought that was a joke. Well, she found out that's no joke. Okay, chaos. Oh, see that? Okay, good. Very good. Marco talking about the chaos's ladder is what Littlefinger said to Varys season 1. So very good. So again, you have Bran showing as three-eyed raven that, and as he did with Sansa, it's like, listen, I've got powers. I can see things. I've seen all kinds of things. So when I want to stay on this though. With Bran said to Sansa, hey, that one night you look so beautiful. And it shook her up. Because now it was revealed that this guy has powers. He knows he's the real deal. But also he seems at this point to have no problem, for lack of better, just airing things out. Now, I don't know if that is for purpose. I don't know if he just doesn't see it as like a problem. I'm Three-Eye Raven now. I see everything. It's like, what's a big deal? Or I don't know if that's some kind of proof. I'm not sure of the motivation. I want to hear what you guys think about that, because that's very, very interesting. And particularly when he talked to, when he threw that up, because it was when it was Sansa, it was one-on-one. But when he said it about Arya, like, yeah, you were at the crossroads, weren't sure where you were going to go. He aired it out. Interesting. Very good. Okay, I got that. Like that. I like that, Marco. So Marco, okay, that's Littlefinger's motto. If he's just like trying to get through all the stuff and just air everything out right now so they can kind of concentrate on the bigger finger. If he's trying to just like a bigger picture rather. If he's trying to have everyone concentrate on the bigger picture, in my opinion. In other words, like, let's not play these games of intrigue, and let's get to the real business at hand, and let's get past all this type of stuff. That dagger, the Valyrian steel, we know that's going to come into play, in my opinion. Absolutely. And, you know, the dagger that was meant to kill Bran, and he took that. So he took this weapon that was going to kill him, right, in that first episode, and he hands it over as a weapon of power with Valyrian steel. Now, that can take out the White Walkers, to Arya, who we know knows how to use it to great effect. How interesting is that? So we're seeing all of the Starks come together. I mean, at the beginning of the episode, season 1, they were the happy family. They were there and everything like that. They got dispersed, and now it's all coming back. And each of them have come into their own. And we really see that this episode. We really see that. Jon Snow, King of the North, you know, who has been revived, right? Who has the Valyrian steel sword and everything like that. Down there with Daenerys. Sansa, leader of Winterfell right now, the one in charge, you know, Lady Stark and everything like that. So she's showing that what she can do, and we're going to see some things of that. Arya, super powerful. Bran, super powerful. So I thought that was very, very interesting right there. So I'm going to give you I want a couple questions for the audience right here, because I have more reactions. Question number 1. What do you think happens with Jaime Lannister? That's question number 1. Is Jaime Lannister going to be, did he escape under the water? I mean, you know, it's going to be hard to swim with the one hand and stuff like that. You got the metal hand. Is he going to escape and reconvene? Is he going to be captured by Daenerys? Is he going to switch sides to Daenerys because his brother's there? We see, you know, Tyrion. What kind of interaction now between Tyrion and Jaime? That's very important, number 1. Number 2, where does Daenerys end up? We saw the clips from the next, you know, scene where she's asking people to bend the knee and all that. Do you think that Daenerys is going to say, you know what, I tried it this way, the subtle way, I'm just going to go hard and ramp things up and show the power and do all that? What is Cersei's move to this? Because there's so much now that she's got to deal with. Where's her army? Now she's got the money now from the Iron Bank to sort of hire some more mercenaries and stuff like that. But depending on what happens with Jaime, that's a huge factor. Jaime's basically all that she's got left in terms of Lannisters that she even cares about. I mean, you got Tyrion there, but she's kind of against Tyrion. So that's going to be an interesting, you know, play right there. What about Varys? I feel like Varys, that there's some kind of play that he's going to be making very, very soon. So where does he end up on that? So I want to know about that. Does anyone have a prediction? Hit me in the chat of what you think is going to happen with Jaime in the next couple of episodes. That's number 1. Because I mean, he was close to just getting punked on this one. And I also will say this. I wouldn't be surprised if we see a departure from the books, because now we're getting into, it's an interesting territory. I think Jaime's a very, very, I mean, we've seen the Game of Thrones is definitely not concerned about killing off characters. At the same time, Jaime's such a great actor, such a critical character. I wouldn't be surprised to see a departure from the books in terms of dealing with him, and or maybe Cersei. I don't know why, I just feel that way. I just feel that way. I may be wrong. What do you think about that? Now, secondly, do you think that Jon Snow is going to bend the knee? Will he make the deal with Daenerys in order to get her help and her armies how's he gonna feel about that? Is he gonna say, you know what, I'm gonna do what I need to do to save him here and go with that? Do you think that's gonna happen? Number 3. What about Arya? Is she going to get back into the Stark family, or is she going to be there sort of tangentially? Is she going to turn into this super assassin that has sort of been sort of hinted at? Is she going to get on the whole listing? And maybe that's the deal. Maybe we have a bit of a standoff here between, you know, Cersei and the Red Keep and dragon, stuff like that. And maybe it's Arya that goes and does this assassin's work or something like that. That's very, very interesting. Meanwhile, I think coming up relatively soon, maybe in an episode or 2, I think we're going to hear from the White Walkers again. Okay, those guys are going to be knocking on the door of the wall here or going around pretty darn soon. So I think that we will get some resolution in the next week or 2, maybe 3, of what's going on with Westeros and Cersei and the battle and all that type of stuff. But I think very soon the attention's going to go to the north. So what was so cool about this episode is you had the very, very big time stuff with the dragons and stuff, and now Westeros is seeing, holy smokes, these dragons are real and they're powerful. But at the same time, we had these subtle things that are setting up, where the magic power, in my opinion, is coming up again. We have, you know, Maester, well, not a Maester yet, but, you know, Tarly there with the Maesters in the Citadel doing amazing work. Mormont's going to come back in the mix now that he's cured. We have the White Walkers, I'm sure, are gaining power and everything like that. The dragons are showing their might. Arya is doing her thing. Jon Snow, I mean, all these things. It's very, very interesting. And I think part of it, too, is what kind of, if Daenerys is able to get on that throne, what kind of leader will she be? We're still finding that out. She's still learning where she wants to be, and I think she can learn a lot from Jon Snow in that respect. So much to talk about. Really enjoy this episode. I had to react quickly to it. I appreciate you guys for joining me. I'm probably going to wrap it up right here. I may hit another live stream later tonight. I have other things I want to talk about, but I appreciate what you guys said. Please give me the comments below. If you want to hit me with the chat on the way out, that's cool. Great, great episode. Definitely, in my opinion, the best of the season, and I'm excited about it. So I want to thank you guys for watching. My name is Jon D. Villarreal. You're watching Conservative Media. I will see you next time.